that were brought in, especially in the big cities, and the communists and the unionists here can vouch for this, especially in the big cities when people were so poor and so broke in all these cities, and the factories are closing, the corporations at that time was stepping on the working class and pushing down and had strong anti-union leanings. The ILWU, two members of the ILWU were killed in front of the ILWU Union Hall in San Francisco back, I think it was 1916, for this reason, that the corporations were stepping on the actual people, not just black people, but people, period. And they made police departments to suppress the insurrections of that time. So if you understand, the police were not made to protect us, they were made to control us. Right? So they were either made to control us by the overseers and the slave catchers to control the small population of black people, or they're made to control the vast population of the working class and to keep the working class in line. See, that's why I'm also an anti-capitalist and a black revolutionary. So I'm trying to look for some, there was supposed to be some more families that were going to speak. I wasn't planning on speaking this much the entire time. And they're not here. So, let me do a time check and see if I can bring up my co-MC real quick, if I can find him.
20 minutes till 9. Mark.
All right, thank you very much. I'm not sure who said that.
Hi. I wasn't necessarily planning on speaking. I was hoping that my sister Jeannine Bluford was going to be here. She has a long travel from Tracy, and so she may not be able to make it today. And she did ask me, in case she couldn't make it, to speak on her behalf and for her son, Alan. And I'm wearing him on my special protective badge here that I like to wear. When doing things like this and when connecting struggles, we're here today for Yvette Henderson. I was just spending some time back with her brother Jameson. These are real victims, real people who these murdering pigs steal away from us. And the men standing there and up on the roof may be thinking, but I'm not a murdering pig. I didn't pull the trigger. Well, you're all just as guilty. You know, the whole system is guilty. That's right. There's no such thing as a good cop until one of you takes the first step across that blue line, that thin blue line that ain't so thin. There's not going to be progress until we all join together to end police terror, to end what has happened to Jameson and his family and our community, what happened to Alan at the hands of police officers who act with absolute impunity and zero accountability. The whole culture is guilty. You are all guilty until you start speaking out about the injustices, about the corruption in your department and in departments across the nation. I work at the Alan Bluford Center for Justice, and I used to be a nurse before I do that. So before I started doing this, and I have this drive in me for healing, you know, because that used to be what I did for my work, and now that what I dedicate my life to and myself to is a different type of healing. It's healing the community. The community, it's helping to heal. I can't do that on my own. It's helping to heal the community affected, especially the community affected by police terror. And something that my sister Jeannine said is that each and every time a Mike Brown, a Tamir Rice, an Eric Garner, an Yvette Henderson happens, each and every time that happens, her wound gets infected with their crap, their lying, murdering crap. Lamisha's wounds get infected every time. The wounds are never allowed to heal because they're constantly getting filled with crap. And let's say it like it is, it's shit, it's bullshit. It's just horrible. How can anybody ever expect to heal when we are constantly being told Black lives matter less and the law says it's just fine? Brown lives matter less and the law says it's just fine. Mentally ill, trans, whatever, as long as you're disenfranchised and marginalized, which is on purpose, your lives are valued as less and the police are allowed to murder you simply based on that thing about you that makes you different, be it your skin color, your sexual preference, your gender identity, whatever it is. The police target people to make us feel terrorized. Terrorized. They don't make us feel safe and protected unless perhaps you live up on the hill somewhere nice on your lily white pad, which I don't think that's where most of us live. So for me, what I think of as justice for Alan Bluford, you could fill in any name into Alan Bluford, because what it really means is there will be no more Alan Blufords. And if there are, it is our job to make sure that they are not allowed to act with absolute impunity and zero accountability. And it's not just us. We know that we are like a wildfire, that maybe we started that spark here in Oakland, you know? Maybe back with Oscar Grant and times like that, maybe that spark got started here, but we have spread like wildfire across the nation. And it's not only in Oakland where people are starting to open up and realize it's not just Oscar Grant, it's not just Mike Brown, it's not just the names we hear in the news. People are starting to wake up across the nation, and we have ourselves here in Oakland to thank for leading the way in this fight. We have to keep telling our brothers and sisters about these actions that are happening. People think that we've done this and it's enough. This didn't end back in the civil rights era, back in the 50s and 60s when we had our marches then. It didn't end. They are still killing us, like I said, and they're getting away with it. So we have to keep going. We have to keep the pressure up. It's beautiful to see you all here. The next time we gather, make sure you tell your mama, your granny, your uncle, your cousin, and your neighbor, because we need to see them out here too. This struggle belongs to all of us. I think that I've done enough chatting. I see Adam is ready here. Does anyone know if Kadeen and her mom Angela have shown up? She's on her way. That's, I think, the other family member who we are waiting for. And we have 20 minutes. We have a hard and fast time that we got about 20 minutes until we need to go. We do have a hard and fast time that we need to leave. Just to plant the seed in your head right now, we do know where we're going, but we're not going to let everyone know. But we do know where we're going. So when we start marching, let's just all stick together. Because what are we here for? We're here to love and support each other. I didn't mean to answer that question, but I think it's a really important answer. We're here to love and support each other. So let's all stick together when we go.
Are we coming back here at the end?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would say no. We're going to a pre-designated destination, and from that point, we're going to be there, and then from there, I was planning on going home. I don't know what everybody else is planning, but real quick. Oh yeah, where we're going does have a bus route or easily accessible to get back. If the question is you have vehicles here, it'll be real easy to get back here and get your vehicle. So don't worry about that. I want to, while I have the chance, I want to read out the demands so everybody can hear me clearly. Release of the videotape that contains the shooting or any lead up to the shooting of Yvette Henderson. Leave without pay for Michelle Shepard and Warren Williams, the officers involved in the killing. And I want to, real quick, we want to stop the leave with pay. If you shoot somebody, you need to have a leave without pay and come back. Because if I got to go home because I messed up, even though it ain't my fault, I'm not going to get paid for it at a regular job. But for some reason, at their job, they got. I understand the police have a hard job, yeah, but shooting unarmed people is worse than having a hard job. Okay. So leave without pay for Michelle Shepard, Warren Williams, the officers involved in the killing of Yvette Henderson, while they are being investigated, and ultimately the termination of Shepard and Williams from the EPD. Yeah. The immediate return or destruction of all military-styled weapons. Yeah. Look, we don't need armored anti-mine vehicles in Emeryville. Right. We don't need tanks. Well, who needs a tank? Raise your hand. Well, that was a joke. Some people may think they need a tank. No, really, you don't need a tank. And neither do they. Okay? The immediate return or destruction of all military-style weapons and accessories in the possession of the Emeryville Police Department. An account on what happened to Yvette while in contact with Home Depot security. An explanation regarding how she sustained the head injury on Home Depot property because they called an ambulance for her that never made it while she was still at Home Depot. Okay, and that ambulance never made it. Nobody ever explained how she was ever injured, and we want an explanation. And the reason is why she never saw the paramedics as a result of her head injury. We want the videotapes that show the shooting. Look, they just released an audio of the security guard. It's in the Mercury News and ABC 7. They released a redacted audio tape. Redacted means they edited it. They didn't just give us a audio tape. They edited what they wanted to edit. And with the spin doctors that they have, they can make anything sound like anything. And like Malcolm X said, as soon as you start believing mainstream media, you'll believe your friends are your enemies and your enemies are your friends. So let's not just trust what the newspapers have to say about this. And one thing I want to say real quick is, like, I feel like our people, especially black people and people of color, poor people, the LGBT community, are like the canaries in the coal mine. We are the first ones to be affected by the oppression and depression of a system. We're the first ones to actually, we are the largest community in prison. Even in places like California and Pennsylvania, where we only make up 15 to 17% of the population, we make up 50 and 60% of the prison population. There's a reason for that. You see, the justice system isn't broken, it's doing exactly what they planned. They make more money off us, they make more money off a prisoner than putting us through school. So instead of like India, where they have more engineers and have more computer programmers coming out of colleges per capita, we have more people going to prison. All right, so we have some, if you don't know the story about the O'Shane, Justice, we have some O'Shane, Justice for O'Shane. I want to talk about it real quick because they're going to speak real quick. But right before I hand over the mic to these beautiful sisters over here, there's going to be a hat passed around. Okay, the hat passed around is in support of Yvette's 2 children and Yvette's family. Kick in what you can. If it's only 50 cents, kick in 50 cents. If you well off and give us 100, give us 100. But this is going directly to be able to feed and house the family and the children of the woman that was murdered by the Emeryville Police Department. Instead, I was going to explain a little bit about what happened to O'Shea, but I think it'd be much better for y'all to be able to explain. I'll explain what I know real quick. Okay. I'll explain what I know real quick. So there was undercover police officers were chasing assailants, alleged assailants, through the over by the Candlestick Park. It was the AT&T Park in South of Market, down where the Giants play at. When they said that these assailants had broken into a car that they watched from afar while assailants broke in and burglarized the car. After watching them burglarize the car, instead of stopping them from burglarizing the car, they let them burglarize the car and then start chasing them down the street, not in their own car, but on foot. So when these assailants allegedly turned the corner, the police turned the corner, saw O'Shea sitting in the car, and shot him. He wasn't the ones that they were chasing. He just happened to be a black man sitting in the car at the wrong place at the wrong time. And of course, they criminalized the brother. They said that he was one of the ones that broke into the car, that he had stolen property. Of course, they lied about it. Otherwise, they had to lie. They murdered somebody unjustly. They murdered an unarmed man unjustly without probable cause. Another extrajudicial killing by the police, and that was by SFPD. Because it doesn't matter. You see, one of the things I want to iterate really quick, a lot of people are getting killed by the police. Kelly Thomas was a white guy that was beaten to death by the police in Southern California. Alex Nieto was shot by SFPD in Bernal Heights in San Francisco. It's not just a black thing, but like I said, we're the canaries of the gold mine. We've been killed for a long time, and now it's just